What if I told you that the buyer's agent worth is absolutely something the seller should consider if massive changes happen with this commission lawsuit, the NAR stuff that you're seeing in the headlines? Would that make a lot of sense? Because take this back all the way to the beginning when we were having dual agency and that was struggling. I know some states still have that, but can one person technically have a fiduciary responsibility to two different people in the same transaction? In most states, that was determined no. So then that's where all of this, confusion with who's paying the agent and all of this comes in. But today we're going to step back from all of that and we're going to talk about the value that a buyer's agent brings a seller on the other side. So stay tuned. What's up, guys? Jeremy Kane here. So thankful you guys are here. I work for eXp Realty as a real estate agent in the great city of Denver and the suburbs. And if there's anything I can ever do to help you or help somebody sell or buy a home, I would love for you to share these videos, comment below, send me a message. I'm always here to help. And that's why I do what I do. I pride myself on educating my clients, both buyers and sellers, on what's going on, how to best leverage their listing to get multiple offers and all the things, and how to compete in a usually pretty competitive market as a buyer's agent as well. So I cover it all. I work a lot of ground. I obviously went to school in Fort Collins. Northern Colorado is a market that I serve, as well as Denver. So if you ever need any of that, please reach out, DM me. If all of this real estate stuff is confusing, you're looking at trying to buy a home, I help everybody that I possibly can build wealth through real estate, because I was provided that opportunity and I want to share that with everybody else that I come in contact with. So that's enough about that. So let's get into this. So as a seller, you have great value in having a buyer's agent on the other side. And I'm not saying list your house and have a buyer's agent. You can do that if you're FSBO. I will tell you that you will probably get more money for your listing if you have a professional who can market it, set it up, get it to the most people, and so on. But we're going to focus on the value that a buyer's agent on the other side of the transaction, representing another party, brings to you as the seller. And first and foremost, what's the pre-sale advantage? Well, you can spend a lot of time on the market if you have a buyer's agent out there and they're looking at, the opportunity. You're not willing to work with a buyer's agent as the seller. Maybe that's not, allowed to be advertised or whatever as we move forward through the commission lawsuit. But the buyer's agent will provide to you typically a pre-approved, ready to roll buyer. Now, certainly not every single buyer that an agent works with is pre-approved fully. I get it, but most are. Most agents will not put a buyer in the driver's seat and take them out to show properties if they are not pre-approved or at least vetted pretty heavily in order to say, yes, this person can buy or sell. Our time is our most valuable asset, and it's also yours. I understand that your real estate, portfolio, the value of your home that you're selling is important and all of that, but we're talking about your time. And if you are on the market and you are marketing to people that may or may not be pre-qualified, that may or may not have the ability to, sit down and write an offer on a weekend or whatever, you are going to get less offers. And we're going to talk about that as we move forward, because if you have less offers, the value of your home could be affected. Certainly through, the COVID years and all of that, we had multiple offer situations, and that is the true reason why we've had such high appreciation over the last 4 years, because multiple offers brings competition, and buyers, whether it's emotional or logical, they get tied up and they're going to do anything they can to get that home if it seems perfect or it's a perfect opportunity for them. So the fact that you can get more buyers that are actually ready to purchase a home into your home is the first reason that buyer's agents are bringing value to you. In most cases, if you have multiple offers, you're going to go over list price. As long as the property is priced correctly, you're going to go over list price, and that buyer's agent may absolutely help you, pay whatever you're offering to the other side, if that's allowed, as well as probably your agent in some markets, depending on the price point, depending on the situation, depending on where you priced it. All that stuff matters. However, the truth is that you will get more for your home if there is more demand. Buyers agents have pre-approved buyers ready to go, ready to write an offer, knowing how to write an offer, knowing how to negotiate, knowing how to do the research, knowing how to find the value, and they're providing that information to their buyer in order to bring you an offer as a seller. And last I checked, all the money in the transaction is provided by the buyer. So that's number one. Pre-approved buyers, vetted buyers, a pool of buyers, and then we move to the negotiation piece. Buyers agents will help negotiate. If you're going into some transaction brokerage, or if your state offers dual agency, that's a whole different story. However, the negotiation power of the agent as the buyer, now they are a fiduciary to the buyer, so they are technically negotiating against your agent at this time. Or you could look at it as very different. We are going to have a game here, and we're going to play as a team, and we're going to get this done. We have a buyer that wants to buy. We have a seller that wants to sell. We have a buyer that's represented by an agent who knows what they're doing, knows how to write a contract, knows how to ensure that that buyer gets to the finish line. We have a listing agent that's going to be your fiduciary, make sure nothing is going crazy, making sure you're getting everything you possibly can out of the transaction. Buyers want to buy, sellers want to sell, agents want to help. And we're here in this transaction, right? So now it comes down to the negotiations. Unrepresented buyers that can't be guided or represented by your agent because of a previous relationship or because your state doesn't allow it. In Colorado, you have the option of a buyer's agent, a seller's agent. Those are coaches for the buyer, seller, or transaction brokerage, or seller's agent and treating the buyer as a customer. So essentially, we cannot provide any value to the other side if we're in a listing agreement with the seller. We have to just ask them, okay, I can fill in this contract. How do you want me to fill it in? What are the dates? These are the dates, whatever. You can do that. But there's no fiduciary. There's no, I think it's worth this. None of that, right? Maybe send some comps. They can look at those. They can review those however they want. And so when you have a buyer's agent is writing an offer, they can provide an offer that's legitimate, that can get to the table, that has the right dates, that has, the appropriate value based on their research, based on, what other offers, if the listing agent's allowed to disclose that. So the negotiation piece is huge. And this is where people get really like, well, if I'm the seller and I'm paying a co-op, I'm paying someone to negotiate against me. No, you're paying someone to negotiate with you to get a contract, to get your home sold in the least amount of time for the most money, typically, or the right amount of time when it comes to that. So having somebody on the other side that understands the process, understands how to negotiate, understands the contract is absolutely valuable, not only to your, bottom dollar as a seller, but to your time on the market, which again, time is the most valuable asset here, because the longer you're on the market and so on, there's other effects there. As well as if you're putting your house on the market, you're ready to move, you're ready to get rid of it, you're ready to move on, go to the next thing. So time does matter, right? And maybe you're under contract to buy a replacement home or whatever that may be. And so next, they provide those valuable insights to the buyer, right? Understand, hey, this is how much inventory we have right now. So I see that the comps are this, but this is why this value matters. There's 3 or 4 other offers. They're all above asking price. We don't know exactly what they are, but you are in a situation where you can provide, A, B, C that the seller's asking for. This is what that looks like. This is what a post-closing occupancy looks like. This is what, the right, mortgage payment looks like to you. You've talked to the lender. So they are coaching the buyer along with the market and using their market insights to help you get the very best offer you can possibly get, and the right offer that gets you to the closing table and saves you time. And so if we can make that happen, the valuable market insights from the buyer, understanding, okay, this this zip code's hot, this neighborhood's hot, this is what's going on. These are the other things that are, on the table as far as offers and so on. So having that person on the other side really helps coach the buyer along versus somebody who maybe has never bought a home before and maybe can't afford to agree to pay their buyer's agent. And now we're here. And so if we're moving on here, reducing time on the market is super important, right? An unrepresented buyer, because you're not willing to, or you're not allowed to pay a commission as a seller, could present a lot of issues with this time, because now we have to move. Now we have to go move on this, and you've already put an inspection down. You've already paid for the appraisal on the next home. And now your home is dragging along because there's no buyer's agent on the other side. And there's no real party that's able to fiduciarily represent that buyer to help you get that process moved along, get you what you want for your home. And so reducing that time on the market, reducing that time on the, within the process is absolutely massive. And then finally, streamlining the closing. Okay. If again, this buyer's unrepresented and, your agent's helping you, yeah, we can say this is what we need. But are we preparing them for the closing? Is there somebody to go through and answer all the questions and make sure they understand all the documents and do all of that? Streamlining the closing process so you get the money, because there's nothing worse than getting all the way to the day before closing or the closing table and the buyer saying, oh, actually, this lender that I found on the internet wasn't able to close, and so on. So there is immense value in the buyer's agent for the seller. Streamlining the process, getting it done. And I almost guarantee you that whatever commission that you're going to offer based on, you as the seller, what they decide to do here, and offering and advertising a commission co-op to have the buyer's agent represented will probably be the best money that you spend in your real estate investment journey, because you will help this process get to the finish line. There are bad agents, there are good agents. Most agents will really, dial in and help a buyer get to the closing table, because that's where they get paid. And so you have to understand, whatever your thought is on real estate agents, whatever that is, as a seller, this is the value that the buyer's agent brings. And they not only bring, the buyer to the table, but the buyer brings the money, and the money goes to you, which goes to somewhere else, so that you can appropriately move on with your life and not make this real estate transaction the rest of your life. So when you really step back and think about it, whatever the percentage is, whatever the offering is, it is worth its weight in gold to you as a seller to have somebody represented. And we didn't even talk about the inspections, the disclosures, and all of those things that come up, right? Buyer's agent, offers all of these services, helps connect with the right inspectors, the inspectors that aren't going to be alarmists, the inspectors that are going to go through and make sure that, they're looking at everything they possibly can. If there's no disclosure issues down the road, you're lucky if you don't have a professional inspector, a professional agent that are going through those reports and making sure, not to mention you on the other side disclosing the information. But if we have the buyer's agent disappear, or we see, skyrocket in the amount of unrepresented buyers, we will also see a skyrocket in the amount of, lawsuits and things. Because if the process is not explained, people get upset, people don't understand, people don't know what to look out for. And you as the seller could be dealing with this real estate transaction for a long time, that you just want to move on with your life. You just want to get it done. So that is the value of a buyer's agent to a listing agent. I hope this helped. I hope this brought some insight. I hope this makes a ton of sense to you if you're thinking about listing your property. If you are, I would love to have this conversation with you and have the opportunity to represent you to the fullest, get you what you need, get you to the finish line. We can talk all about this and what commissions you would like to offer all the way through. But first, if you're interested in selling your house, or you just want to know your value, book a call with me. The calendar link's in the comments, and we'll see you soon. Catch you next time on Why Invest Wednesday. Bye-bye.